Welcome to the Hermitess Podcast with Andrea Cox, the only plant-based astrology podcast focusing on Hermetic principles, cellular detoxification, and mystery teachings. Andrea's interviews include her celebrity clients, NBA ball players, musical composers, detoxification specialists, and world-renowned healers just like Andrea. Andrea is a model-turned-celebrity detox specialist, intuitive healer, and holistic wellness and life coach. You will find only authentic people interviewed on this podcast. Real recognizes real. Andrea prides herself on only inviting those who are uniquely creative.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hermitess Podcast. Today we have my friend on. She is amazing. Her name is Courtnie. Courtnie is an energetic alchemist and embodiment coach, specializing in human design, hypnotherapy, yoga, and meditation. Her passion and power is to help humans find their sacred truth, share their innate magic, and live their limitless potential so they can receive abundance with ease. I love that about you. Through human design, soul print sessions, guided visualizations, activation, meditations, and consciousness conversation, she helps people embody their light and become magnetic to their desires. She has 2 decades of experience, all aimed at helping humans live healthy, happy, heart-aligned lives. She's here to help you feel, know, and embody your innate power, truth, and magic. Her intention is to bring as much love and light to your life as possible. All she wants is for you to find your truth, share your magic, embody your light, and live in abundance with ease. Welcome, Courtnie. Courtnie, tell us your last name, your full last name.
Clarke.
Courtnie Clarke. Okay, so I came across Courtnie. It's interesting. I occasionally microdose, and I found her through a company that she's involved with. And the first time I ever spoke to her on the phone, I was like, this is a past life soul sister connection. I feel her. So you're a Libra, right? In Western astrology? Yeah. I'm a Libra in Vedic, but rising in Nakshatra. And you did a reading for me that I haven't had the pleasure of listening to all the way through, but I have to tell you that just the short 10 minutes I listened to was so on point that I had to sit down while I was listening to it. So tell me a little bit about what you do. In 3 sentences, how would you describe what you feel you do for your people?
What I do is I bring your subconscious to your consciousness, basically. As with human design, I give people permission to be who you know that you are. It just awakens you to the fact that everything you've kind of been fighting against and conditioned against being your magic, is actually how you live your best life. And then I do other things, nidra and hypnotherapy and meditation and such to help with that integration. But overall in soul print sessions, basically it's that we came with an instruction manual that most people don't know about. And human design really helps you understand and know how to then live it. And it is really easy. It's just that we've overcomplicated it.
Yeah. And what I love about you is you're so gentle. In your reading, I noticed with your explanations, you were just so gentle. You yawned once and you wanted to reassure me that wasn't because my soul print was boring, but that because, a lot of times this energetically taxes your body, right? So it does a number on you, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's interesting because I do a lot of sessions live through Zoom. But recently, because I just need more time, I'm doing recordings. So I don't have anyone on the other side. I'm just reading your print to you. So what I find is I pass a lot of energy for the person I'm reading for, because when I'm doing it, they're not there to be processing it at the same time, if that makes sense. Because when I do it live, I never yawn. So it's actually Like, I know I apologize, but it's actually been really,
I loved it. I loved it.
Interesting for me because it never happens when I'm talking to people live. It's only when I do it as a recording. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, okay. So I do want to know, I don't want to make this about me, but I want to know what my purpose is. I know it has to do something with unconditional love.
Yeah.
But I also know that somewhere in there, you had to have seen how difficult it is for me to set healthy boundaries. That had to have come up somewhere because that's, I feel like what in the area I'm in my life currently, that's what I'm struggling with holding to almost. So I'm almost militant with my boundaries because So tell me what you pulled for me.
Okay. So
you guys know, you can give Courtnie your birth information and she will literally create a video for you explaining your life's purpose and the direction and the paths that you should and should not go. It's amazing. So go on.
That's all it takes. All I need is your birth info. So basically, you are a sacral manifesting generator. So overall, how you thrive is by doing what you love. The more you do what lights you up, the more energy you have, the more you give your energy to things that burn you out, the more you don't have correct boundaries, the more that energy builds. And I mean, this is talked about a lot in the self-help world. You know, we all know that like attracts like, but specifically for you being a sacral manifesting generator, you are the most powerful of the energy types. You can do it all. You can say yes to everything, but you need to continue to just do the things that you love and know that when things, maybe they let you up 2 months ago, but now they're burning you out, you need to start to let them go to create space for the new. And that's the hardest thing for manifesting generators is a lot of the time a manifesting generator's ego doesn't want to like let go of something they've committed to until it's done, because you are the energy type that can make things happen. You can be doing 3 jobs and 2 courses at the same time really well. But when there's one thing that's just like taking that energy, that's when you're going to find that you're burnt out. That's when you're going to find that you aren't thriving. And so then next it comes to your inner authority, which you are sacral, like myself. I'm a pure generator, by the way, but we both have our sacral inner authority. That's that gut. We can't turn it off. We know it's a yes or a no, but where we get in our way is that in between. And this comes to your boundaries question, because you know when it's a hell yes, like, you know, when someone's just like, yeah, like, I mean, our connection was a hell yes, right? Yes. You know, when people are a hell no, you can cut them out because it's just too much. It's too toxic.
Yes.
But the in between, when it's like, I still have these reasons I like you and these reasons that I don't, or whatever it is. And then being that so we just like make decisions or make things or manipulate things to have an answer. But in those situations when we don't have the hell yes or the hell no, we need to just wait for it. Now for you, more specific than that is because after we get through your aura, which there's 5 different aura energy types, and through your inner authority, then it gets really personal. So that's your defined and undefined centers, your specific gates and channels. And this is where, and your profile. So your profile is a 2-4, which is a hermit opportunist. And your most power,
the Hermitess Podcast.
Exactly. That's like I
don't like the word opportunist. So what does that mean?
So, there's so much. But when, I feel like we're going to need to do this again once you've like.
I feel like you're going to be a series. Yeah, definitely.
Well, once you've fully gone through your reading, you're going to really understand. But our profile is basically, it's like the costume that we wear. So I know when we talked, because I'm an intuitive astrologist, I'd say, but astrology kind of tells us, it's like our recipe. If we look at human design and astrology, like a recipe. So astrology is like the ingredients. Human design is like the instructions in how to work with those ingredients. So our profile is how we see ourselves and how others see us. Now, the first line of your profile, which is the 2, the hermit, goes off of how the sun and the earth were aligned when you were born. Now, where human design differs from astrology is that it doesn't just go off your birth day when you became human. Basically, it goes off of 88 days before that, which is when our soul enters our body, when we're still in the womb. And that's where our innate gifts, our subconscious magic, all of that comes from. And that is usually what people see in us, but it's harder for us to see. So your conscious line is a hermit. So it's going to be very easy for you to embody to understand the fact that like you need down and alone time for people to bring out of you your gifts and what you're here for. So I'm a 6/2. I am a hermit as well, but it's in my unconscious side. So for you, you are a naturalist. What you do well. When you just do the things that you're naturally good at, people see you for that, but you need to let the right people come to you. You need to kind of like hermit into your shell and let those people come in, like who want to dance with you. Now, when our first line, so your which is a 2 for you, is kind of the most important from 0 to 30-ish, like once we've gone through our Saturn return. But after that is when we start to move into our unconscious line, which for you is that opportunist. And so what that is that's how the sun and earth were aligned when your soul entered your body 88 days before you were born. The opportunist, and the words like there's investigator, hermit, martyr, heretic, opportunist, and role model are kind of the names. And
I have a couple of investigator, martyr, stalker, energies around me, right? And I'm trying to, it's just, you can't get the point across that I need my space, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. This is where the challenge is going to be for you, because you have this opportunist. And of course, it's going to be a triggering word for you because you are good with people. You are a good networker. Like you are really good at connection and seeing people. But where that gets in your way is that for opportunists, it's really hard for people with that fourth line to let go of people. And not even if you just like consciously know you should, energetically, it's hard because you're a manifesting generator. All generators, so pure generators and manifesting generators, we have this open aura. It's open and enveloping. People can feel us. We're warm and sparkly. That's how we're supposed to feel anyways when we're lit up. So it's addictive for those other types that are reflectors, projectors, and manifestors that feed off our energy.
It becomes codependent.
Yeah.
And that's when I, as a hermit, as a 2, have to go within and pull my energy away because it becomes a leeching energy.
Yeah.
So,
and that can be hard because of your opportunist energy as well. It's that people feel that you want to keep that connection with them, and you energetically do, but you don't when it's not safe. So it can be hard. And then
it's not healthy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The hardest part for you though, in human design, the original, most people know the chakra system as being 7-centered, that we have these 7 centers. And that energy kind of dictates our day-to-day lives. We evolved into 9-centered beings. And this was discovered when human design was discovered back in the 80s. Now, we have a center called our G center, which is our identity center. It's our magnetic monopole. It's actually where our soul enters our body, right in the center of our chest. It's this constant energy that pulls us forward on our path. When people have this center defined, which you do, I don't, you know when you're aligned and you know when you aren't. Yes. And for you, know that you love yourself. You know how to show yourself love, and you know your worthiness. These are all things that I have an open G center, so I take in conditioning here. I've had to work my whole life to feel self-love and worthiness. And my path is like this way, that way, spirals. And I don't really know when I'm on and off. You get this gift of knowing when you're aligned and knowing when you're not. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, because I could talk about all 9 centers, is because your G center is your most powerful center. It is the one with the most activated gates. And our G center is our center of love. Human design has what's called gates, and each gate pertains to a different part of our personality. You have the most activations in your identity, love center, which is self-love, love for other, and universal love. So, and then your incarnation cross, which our incarnation cross is our overall purpose. If you say wrote a book on your life, like our incarnation cross is basically like the theme of it. And your incarnation cross is the right angle cross of the vessel of love. You are literally here, and I have this all in your recording, but you are here for love of yourself, of others, and universal. It is such a big cross to carry because there's no turning off the amount that you love and care.
And I want to say one thing. And in my astrological chart, my astrology chart, I have 6 trines, 3 being water, and that cross that only like 2% of the population has. I can't think of the name of it right now, the sacral whatever cross. So it's very hard for me to set a healthy boundary, and I don't want to hurt people. Yeah. And so I hide to avoid the conflict. I'll just go hide in a corner for 3 weeks until they leave me alone, and I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This relationship, this friendship is over. And you get work on your issues from childhood and come back to me healed because it's not aligned.
No.
And so I'm very quick. For example, I adore my assistant, but sometimes I'm too hard on her. And I always know when I've given her too much and I'm too hard on her, I'll go to her and be like, hi, how you doing? I'm so sorry. Take the week off, because I know that I don't want to throw her out of balance. I need her to be in balance in order to help this happen, because I wouldn't know how to do this. So go ahead.
Because just to talk a little bit more about your design is you have your emotional center open and your root open, which is it's complicated. So half of the population, 51% of the population are what are known as emotional beings. So their inner authority is their emotional center. Their emotional center is defined. They have their own emotional wave. They know their emotions. You and I are non-emotional. So we're 49% of the population. Our emotional centers are open. We feel the emotional waves of the rest of them. And we feel we can't trust our emotions. Our emotions change all the time. If you're upset for a specific reason, you'll know. But in your day-to-day, you don't know how you're going to feel in 10 minutes because it goes off of the energies around you. Now, to complicate that even more, you have your root open. Our root is a pressure center. It's the pressure to do. It is also where when people have their root open, you feel the stress, anxiety, and pressure in any environment. So your whole life from childhood, you have been collecting the anxiety and stress in any situation. So you're not only feeling people's emotions, you're feeling their stress, you're feeling their anxiety. And because you care so much, you just want to help and you want to heal.
Fault. People that wronged me, I'm like, I know he tried to ruin my business, but is he okay? To a fault. I care about people, but I come off because of that Libra, that Queen of Swords. I come off.
And you're a manifesting generator, which is a very powerful. So manifesting generators they're the most powerful, the brightest light, because basically, so pure manifestors they're people, they're 7% of the population. They're people that come, Donald Trump is a manifestor. You either love them or don't love them. They have strong opinions. They're here to make things happen. Their aura is
you, Courtnie. We love you. Just saying.
Their aura is repelling. So if you don't get them, you don't love them. And the more a manifestor just owns that, they're fine. Now, generators, pure generators like myself, we are just meant to be sparkly and do the things that we love. Then there's manifesting generators, which is yourself. So you have that manifesting energy that has that forcefulness that you can make things happen, but then you have the magic of the generator energy that can consistently do it and be lit up through it. So you magnetize, the more lit up you are, you magnetize people into your aura, into your world they feed off of it. So it's great if the people and the environment are correct for you, then it's just an abundance of light and love and energy. But when you're drawing in and trying to hold on, or people are trying to hold on to you for that light that aren't aligned, that's when it turns into this negative energy, which makes it hard. So, and then it comes to the health of your root, which when that's not healthy, when you're continually doing things just to do them, just because you feel like you need that satisfaction of feeling completed, it's never going to happen for someone that has a root.
Or to not upset the apple cart, like you don't want to upset the apple cart. So you're like allowing the toxicity into your life and allowing people to not, give you your sacral space of peace.
Yeah.
And so, and let me ask you, and I just have one more question, and we're going to list a link where you can actually order one of these readings from Courtnie. Her reading for me was over an hour long. It's so, just the 10 minutes I've watched thus far was like, and I explained to you what I'm going through on a personal level right now. I was so shocked at how on point it was. I was like, oh my God, you are in this realm. You're like me in astrology or wellness. It's like, everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny. So you guys, we're going to list her link, but it's funny how on point just the 10 minutes I've seen so far was. She's like, well, you need to do this in order to get, and I'm shocked. So
until you go further.
I do want to ask you, what part of my chart talks about why do I run from conflict? I cannot stand conflict at all. And I keep calling it a chart, but it's not. It's called a soul print.
Well, I call what I do a soul print reading. Now, in human design, the graph that you saw on your screen when you watched your reading it's known as our body graph. To me, it's basically, we're as unique as our fingerprints, right? And human design can get it so specific, but I call it a soul print because I bring in my astrology knowledge. I bring in my intuitiveness, my cosmic channeling. It goes, and all of my experience in working with people for a few decades. So it takes it to a different level where I really feel like it just shows you basically the blueprint of your soul and how you thrive. So, yeah.
So what part of my chart it has that avoidance of conflict and hiding? Because that doesn't sound like a manifesting generator.
No.
Manifesting generators are powerful.
Yes.
So when that happens, how do I switch out of that mode? Because I'm in that mode right now with something going on.
So that the avoidance of conflict, and you are right, like most manifesting generators aren't afraid of conflict. They actually kind of feed off it, but most manifesting generators are emotionally defined. Your emotional center being open as a manifesting generator, any of us that have our emotional center defined, because what happens with the conflict is when you are dealing with someone that's got an emotional wave, anywhere that we're open, so you're open in your emotional center, you amplify people that are defined here. So let's say that you're dealing with someone that is defined emotionally and they feel like they're a level 4 upset. You're going to feel that. We feel that as an 8. So say you're totally fine. You feel fine. You know what's going on in you. And then someone comes into your realm, into your world, into your space.
Poking. Just
poking. Yeah. And you feel their energy, you feel their emotions. And those people that are emotional, when they're in conflict, they shut off. They can't feel us. They're in their own emotions. So we poke the bear because we want to resolve it. And we're like, what are you feeling? Why are you upset? What's happening? Let's talk about this. I want to resolve this. But when emotional people are in their emotions, they need space. And usually then they will, in the space, be able to figure out how they feel and come back. Now, if you're in conflict, because our whole lives it's been like that, we have this trauma around conflict because we don't know how to communicate, because when the other person is upset, they don't hear us. So the best thing that you can do
So I'm a great communicator. I just want to say that. But when someone is poking me, I find it best to just completely cut off the energy completely. And it's not ignoring to be cruel. It's actually, I won't be able to work and handle my clients if I've got someone just constantly doing that. It becomes a nuisance, and I want to get away then.
Exactly. And so the best thing for you is, because you can't control them, you can just control yourself, really, right? Is when you're in that, whatever it is, whatever conflict is going on with someone else, is that you need to step away. You need to take yourself out of that energy and really feel what it is that you need. And then you do have your throat defined, like you know how to express and communicate.
To a fault, though, because I hold it in, and then all of a sudden it comes out like verbal diarrhea. Okay, so we're back with Courtnie, and I'm floored. I'm trying to get over the word opportunist. I'm trying to digest that, but it doesn't mean a bad thing in this type of blue. What does it mean?
So it means that you are really good at finding and seeing, as well as connecting and giving opportunity. You see it. It's not a bad thing. And you see it in people. So you are really good at seeing and noticing in others where they need to shine. And you've done that with me.
Like when I talked to you, I was like, oh my God, you're better than the other person I was going to have come on to talk about this.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like you see opportunity, not just for yourself, because I think that that's the biggest thing, especially for manifesting generator women, is that your light is so bright and you're so powerful that it is that conditioning that like you try and dim yourself, right? So when you hear the word opportunist, it's a conditioning that you're told that you're like, selfish or self-centered and always looking for these things. I'm all for being selfish, but I call it soulfish. Like I really think that we all need to be putting ourselves first. Now, because your power and your light is so bright, and you do have your G center defined, like that you're worthy of being seen and heard and valued. But when women feel that, it's very powerful when it's authentic and it intimidates others. So it's
so much.
To them.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to interrupt. And that goes into the Nishakta. I was explaining to you being a Vishakta. It's literally what Vishakta means. It's the Nishakta of Beyonce and Katy Perry and Scarlett Johansson and Sharon Stone. It's someone who achieves fame and fortune and love and everything in the second half of their lifetime, not because they didn't put in the hard work and effort, but because people were jealous and envious of them and tried to pull them down during the first half. That's literally the definition of that Nishakta. So it's funny you say that. Let me ask you this. When people come to you, and you have a YouTube channel, right? What is your YouTube channel called?
My YouTube is AWE by Design.
All by Design. And then you're on Instagram under...
Courtnie Clarke. And then I also have All by Design, which I'm just starting to build up, but you can always get me by Courtnie Clarke. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you guys, I highly recommend. I mean, I am floored. Like I said, I'm going to listen to her as I go to sleep tonight. Because her readings are over an hour long. I mean, my readings, when I do an Akashic record readings, like an hour and then I'm done, but just the 10 minutes I listened to, I was like, oh my God, she's describing like right now, I think she's on the darkest part of me. And like, I need to listen to this, but I'm almost scared, but so good. So when someone comes to you, what you take their birth chart and then you do the video, or do you do a one-on-one? Is there a cost difference between the two?
Yeah. So I used to just do one-on-one, either in person when it's possible or through Zoom. But what was happening is that makes it hard because we have to match schedules and such. And what I found is when I'm doing it in conversation, kind of like we are now, it takes more time because you're going to be asking questions and like your ego is going to kind of like, our ego just wants to not take us out of our comfort zone. So when I bring the truth, it gets intimidated a little. So there's a lot of questions that aren't necessarily necessary. when I started doing recordings for people, I realized in like an hour to 90 minutes, I can give so much more because I basically don't have you in my way. I can see all of the magic. I've done this for people, many people, hundreds of people I've never even met before. And the feedback is crazy for me, and they're all over the world. And my biggest passion is doing this for kids. This is when I found human design, I had a yoga studio. And
I'm ready to ask you where the yoga, because I am an avid yogi, and I was going to ask you where the yoga comes in.
So, I mean, I've been a yoga teacher for, I don't know, like 10, 12 years. So I had a yoga studio in Grand Prairie, Alberta for 4 years. COVID made me close it. And it was time, but it was big. I had like 60 instructors and a mindfulness preschool I created. And my biggest passion was my preschool and my after school programs for kids. I've done retreats for women and all sorts of things. But pardon? No, I don't have any of my own. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you look very young, but we know, we're not going to talk age here, but we know we're around the same age. And
I'm just about to turn 40. So yeah.
So you're a little younger. So wow. So you, okay. So that's in your destiny then probably.
Yeah. So kids are my passion. And when I started doing kids charts for my friends and everything with human design, I was mind blowing because kids are so authentic. There's no faking who and how they are. And so when parents know their kids basically came with this instruction manual, it's life-changing for the child, for them, for everyone. But then when we start to really own and embody the fact that a lot of us are just fighting against who we are, and it really doesn't have to be so complicated. And so, when people just give me their birth information, I can do one-on-one. Usually I do, but what I've found is really working is if people just book a soul print reading at either 60 or 90 minutes, get that from me so that you can really like hear and download and start to embody it all. And then most people within a week to a few months come back and we'll do like a one-on-one where you can ask me questions and we can start to go deeper into the gates, into the channels, and really start to work through the conditioning. Because when you look at a body graph, you'll see that your centers are either defined, colored in, or open, they're white. And where we're undefined is where we bring in other energies. I
want to ask you, are most of mine defined? Yeah. I would feel that they are, because I have a very clear picture of who I am, and I have since I could like walk.
Yeah. So in your manifesting generator, manifesting generators, you came here knowing yourself. Like you could have raised yourself if you wanted to, especially being you have your G center defined. So you have 5 of 9 centers defined. Your sacral, which is your life force energy. It's that it never runs out. It's that gut, that we can't turn off. I'm in an moment right now that's crushing me because it's going to it may uproot my entire life. Yeah. That's really hard. And you have to just stay true to you through all of that and like know that. But your openness, which is your emotional center, your root, so your center where you pull in again, the stress, anxiety, pressure. Your spleen is undefined, which is our fear center. It's our intuition and instinct. So the way that you get intuitive hits comes and goes spontaneously and shows up in all different ways. But your fears are usually not even yours. They're other people's, or they're ones that are conditioned onto you. And then you're defined in your heart. So your ego will center, your identity center, your throat is defined, your third eye, the way that you see the world.
The throat is definitely defined. The throat has been defined since birth. Yes.
Well, and your throat, you haven't got to this part in your reading, but your throat is defined from your third eye. Our third eye is the way that we are ajna. It's the way that we conceptualize and understand things. It's the way that we see the world. People like you and I have defined third eyes. Like when we believe something, when we see something, you can't really change our seeing and believing that. but you and I both have our crowns completely undefined. So we pull in inspiration from anywhere and everywhere, but we also, our crowns are this pressure to know. We're always trying to have the answers. So what's really important to know, because you live in a pressure cooker between the pressure center of your crown and the pressure of your root, it's the pressure to know and the pressure to do. So you're always trying to like do the things and have the answers, which is not a bad thing if it's driving you in the right way, but you have to listen to that G center knowing. When you are doing or trying to find an answer for someone or something that you don't really care about, that's not healthy if it's just to prove something.
Let me ask you, I want, because I know we have to wrap up because by 3:15, but I want to ask you two things. So for someone with my chart, and again, you guys, I highly recommend Courtnie. I'm going to definitely have her on YouTube as well on a day that I've had some sleep, but highly get a reading from her. I come back to her for coaching or what have you, or a follow-up reading. She is so good. So for someone like me that used to, when I'm still growing, would hold on to things that were unhealthy, but have learned to completely cancel anything that, if I even feel that something is remotely unhealthy, that someone's trying to control me, that I'm in a situation where my privacy is going to be invaded, where my healthy boundaries are going to be stepped on, I want out, because it's something I definitely won't pay for, but it's something that I definitely don't want in my life. I don't want any drama in my life at all. I want to be left in peace because that's my creative center. And with the third eye open, I mean, I've never planned anything in my life. Like, I don't plan questions I ask on here. I don't plan when I go to do a YouTube video. I just say, hey, I think I'm going to do a video. Like, nothing is ever set up and strategic. I'm not a strategic person because this is open. I'm being led.
No, actually, your third eye is defined. So that's why you know that. So you can't change your mind. Like, you know that this is the way you are. Your crown is open. So you're willing to hear other people, to hear other ideas. But like the way that you conceptualize it is consistent.
And see when someone's full of it. Immediately. It's like, or when someone's not on their aligned path.
Your third eye to throat connection is you actually have the freak to genius connection, which means that you are here
freak to
something.
Genius?
Yeah, you are here to do something different. You are here. Your genius comes through doing something that kind of your whole life you felt was wrong or weird, or you've had to really work to be where you are now because you are different, because you are so unique, and your power, your voice, basically, because our throat is not just how we communicate, it's how we manifest, it's how we express our gifts. And it can come through talking, but also through dance, writing, whatever your way is. And so for you, clearly you have a clear, consistent voice, but it is coming through the way that the lens of how you see the world and people, which is different than a lot of people. Like, you see the underlying magic, you see through the matrix, like you see through the bullshit, and you're meant to express. But this channel that you have is very unique. And the interesting thing of why and how we're talking right now is that because of the last like almost 18 months, North nodes, how they're aligned, they've created this freak to genius transit collectively. So everyone has been feeling this, but for you, it's innate. You already had it. So it's actually more amplified.
And when I was younger, it was all about helping people see through big pharma and the government and the lies about the food. But when I went, and I don't want to share my North Node publicly, but you know what it is. It screams esoteric arts, a spiritual leader and teacher. Yeah. And it was so hard to come out when I created like a tarot channel 3.5 years ago. And I thought, oh my God, everybody's judging me, but it was so natural to do. And the videos getting like 50 and 60,000 views within a few hours. I knew I was on the right path, but I allowed, and a soulmate love opened that in me, but I allowed that to be dampened. And I went back to like I better make healthy food in my kitchen again, even though it bores the hell out of me. It's not that I don't love gardening and making healthy food in my kitchen. It's that my north node is aligned with being a spiritual teacher and healer. And so I think it's so important. Your work is so valued and valuable. And I am so grateful that you even came on here. I think I shared with you, I'm like, okay, I'm literally going through one of the most life-changing moments of my life over the next few months, but I don't want to cancel Courtnie. I'm like, we got to have her on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I could just keep going forever. So yeah.
I know. And I want to have you on again, and specifically on like a Facebook Live or a YouTube. So real quick, your YouTube channel once again is
All by Design.
All by Design.
Yeah. Okay. My website is also All by Design .ca. It's just getting set up and about to launch. And then right now I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to get into the TikTok world. But yeah, if you reach out to me through Instagram is really the best way. Or book a reading. I will have a link tree up so that people.
And when you'll see more Courtnie, I'm going to spread Courtnie all over the world. She's going to go on the newsletter list, and I'm going to put her on both channels. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to check out Andrea Cox's most recent 4th book, Eat Right for Your Zodiac, it's the first book to ever combine astrology with plant-based eating. Andrea's Akashic record readings, holistic wellness coaching, and intuitive life coaching services are sought out by both celebrities and ordinary, everyday people like Andrea herself. If you'd like to connect with her, you can find her at AndreaCox.com, on YouTube at both Andrea Cox TV and The Detox Intuitive, on Facebook at Andrea Lee Cox, and on Instagram at Raw Chef Andrea.